I think the challenge that the House now faces is what Speaker Pelosi was just addressing, which is they have to conduct this straight down the line as a fair and open investigative process. But I think it's in the best interest of everyone in the country here for this to be conducted publicly and fairly.
So Democratic Senator Chris Coons from last hour with us here. The White House calling Democrats unhinged after a divided House approved rules for the impeachment inquiry just yesterday. Stephanie Grisham, White House press secretary, with us now from Washington. And Stephanie, good morning to you, and thank you for your time. Thank you for being here today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Does the president think this is already a done deal, that the Democrats in the House will vote to impeach him?
I mean, we are still obviously hopeful that everybody will come to their senses and realize that the president did nothing wrong. But we are prepared for an impeachment to happen, yes.
You are prepared for an impeachment to happen?
Yeah, I mean, Nancy Pelosi has made it very, very clear that the House Democrats are going to vote. I mean, starting from the beginning with all of their closed-door meetings and the way they've had their selective leaks with their witnesses, this has been set up to make to impeach the president. So that's something that we're expecting, but we can always hope that the Dems will again come to their senses. They know the president did nothing wrong, and we have so much work to do on behalf of the American people. So we're hoping that they'll come to their senses and do that, but we'll see what happens.
How has the president worded that expectation that you just described?
How has he worded? I don't know that he's worded it. I would say that this is, you know, as we're preparing in the White House, this is what's been, you know, shown. And when you see Nancy Pelosi and Adam Schiff and all of the other Dems and what they've been saying, they've made their intentions very, very clear. So I think it's just pretty obvious to watch them, what they're doing, what we should expect.
Yeah, just listening to your answers there, it seems as if you have concluded it's a foregone conclusion as well. And if the president
I wouldn't say it's a foregone conclusion. I would say that we're expecting it, yes.
If the president believes that as well, how has he described his feelings to you about that potential reality?
He has described his feelings to the American people. You just have to look at his Twitter feed to show. This is a sham and a kangaroo court. This has been unjust and unfair. The president did absolutely nothing wrong. We released that transcript weeks ago for everybody to see. There was no quid pro quo. The Ukrainian government themselves has said they felt absolutely no pressure. Aid was eventually released to the Ukraine. This all stemmed from the president being responsible and not wanting to release money to a country that was known for corruption. This is something I sit with him in meetings all the time. He has concerns about American taxpayer dollars going to countries, especially those that have been known for corruption. He was being responsible and thoughtful with this process, and the Dems are now just trying to use that against him.
Did he want Ukraine to look at Joe Biden, not just as a vice president in 2016, but as a candidate who could oppose him next year?
I don't know that he is going to be any candidate that opposes him next year. He wants to look at any corruption in any country before American dollars flow to those countries.
I was looking at the Washington Examiner interview. He talked about a fireside chat. Is that a serious consideration? And if so, how would that happen?
I'm sure it's always a serious consideration. I don't know what the logistics of it would look like just yet, but in the meantime, again, we released the transcript. The president has nothing to hide, and he has been so transparent. He has answered every question. He has talked to the news media about this over and over again. We're the ones who are being left out of the process. We're the ones who are not able to see what people are saying and be able to adequately defend ourselves.
But he has suggested in the interview that he would read the transcript aloud and do it on television. Is that a serious consideration? Could that happen?
Sure, absolutely.
When?
I don't have any timing there. I'm not going to get ahead of the president on that one, but anything he says is always in consideration.
That was his idea, or where did that come from? I'm just trying to get a sense of.
Well, that was his. Yeah, that was his idea. That was an interview that he gave. Sure.
Okay.
He's got nothing to hide. I mean, I think that's the point that's not getting across, is that the president did nothing wrong and has nothing to hide. So why wouldn't he read the transcript of a call that was fine? It's already public, to show people the context of what was going on. Again, the president did absolutely nothing wrong. That phone call was a normal phone call with a foreign leader.
Also in that interview, he told the Examiner he will not set up a war room. Is that to your disadvantage, or is that a suggestion that you believe Republicans will vote in lockstep on this?
Oh, I think that the Republicans all know what is happening here, and that these are Dems who are angry about the president winning in 2016, and now they're trying to make it so that he cannot win in 2020. A war room, as the president said, you know, he is the war room. The difference between Clinton and Nixon, which is what people constantly compare us to, is that those two did something wrong. The president has done nothing wrong. So at this time, he feels confident with the people that he has in place. We don't feel the need for a war room, and we'll see what happens.
Okay, so and you will not take part in any of the proceedings, right? Nothing on document requests, nothing on subpoenas.
For this new phase 2
Correct.
of the, I can't get ahead of it. We still don't know what those ground rules are. I know there's loopholes that have been put in there that would allow Schiff to decide if we would be able to cross-examine anyone. Again, the Dems keep moving the goalposts. The rules still aren't clear, so I can't get into any steps we're going to take yet.
It's possible then that there will be some level of cooperation if requested?
Well, if things are actually open and transparent as purported, I would imagine that we would participate. But again, if they're going to have different rules and move the goalposts all the time, then that's just not a fair process. In the United States, you are innocent until proven guilty. Right now, the president is being told that he's guilty by the Democrats, and we're having to prove innocence without knowing any information. That's not okay.
3 more topics in 2 minutes or less, okay? Ready?
Oh, boy, let's go.
ISIS has announced a new leader. Can you assure the American people the hard-fought gains in Syria will not be surrendered?
The president made it very, very clear on Sunday that we will continue to keep our pressure on ISIS. The president has been very definitive with his actions. I think that was shown last Sunday when he directed the military, our great military, to find, seek, and kill out the founder and leader of ISIS. So I can assure you that the president is monitoring everything that's going on with these terrorists and ISIS, and the American people are safe there.
Okay, when will you hold a White House briefing?
Whenever it's time. Yeah. I think right now we're doing just fine. The president continues to speak to the American people. He continues to speak to the press. So do I.
Okay.
My press team and I are available 24/7.
Because we want to hear from you as much as we can to get a sense about what's happening behind the scenes. And I know you said the Twitter feed is quite active, and we watch that as well. Is there a plan for a White House briefing with you?
There's no plan right now, but as with anything in our White House, that could change in 5 minutes.
Or 5 seconds.
Exactly right.
The president, he says he's leaving New York for Florida, and the New York governor said good riddance. What is the message from the White House back to the Empire State?
I mean, we're not going to waste our time with a governor who would say something like that. That was petty and that was silly. I'll leave it at that. I do want to talk about the jobs numbers, though, if that's possible.
Pretty good numbers.
Yes, they're very, very good numbers.
What is your read on that, as the revision from August and September was better than most had even expected, Stephanie?
Well, the president's economic agenda is working. Everything that he's doing is working. Adding 128,000 jobs in the month of October is fantastic. And since he's taken office, we've added almost 7 million jobs to this country. So despite the stupid impeachment scam from these Democrats, the president's agenda is working. We continue to work, and the American people obviously continue to benefit.
There is a rally in Mississippi tonight. We will listen for his message then. Thank you for your time. Stephanie Grisham from Washington
Thank you
today.
so much.
Thank you for coming on today. We'll speak again.